What's up, everybody, and welcome back to the Outfielder Podcast, episode 118, presented by Sensibly Loud Media. I am your host, J-Mac, a.k.a. Founder Numero Uno, and I'm joined by my co-host, Mr. Popfly himself, Founder Numero Dos, Ben.
Buy one, get one half off. Bogoho.
Baseball, Ben, what's going on, man?
Hello. How are you?
Welcome back. I'm doing well.
Thank you. I'm glad to be back. No, I wasn't out suffering from COVID stuff, but, sometimes life happens. Speaking of life happening, who do we have out there riding across the horizon on a pogo stick?
Ladies and gentlemen, now batting cleanup for the Outfielder Podcast, number 3, the Great Sambino.
Welcome back, Sam.
Hello.
We got the intro music in there this time. We had a better episode last time, so we earned it, I think.
Yeah, I think we actually needed that 13 seconds back to make it a really quality episode. So I'm glad you didn't play it last time.
Worked great.
That's all it takes. Hey, gentlemen, you want to hear something cool?
Absolutely.
So it is currently Monday at 6:44 p.m. Central Daylight Time. It is 2 days, 5 hours, 15 minutes, and 12 seconds from MLB opening day.
I'm so stoked. Actually, let's do an applause. How about that?
I'm still slightly stunned that it's going to happen.
I'm excited, actually.
Me
Have
too.
you guys watched any yet?
Yes.
What have you thought? What are your thoughts so far?
I watched the Cubs play the White Sox at Wrigley, and it was fun. It was good to see real baseball. I also looked at the lineup for the Cubs, and I was like, that looks really good. It was like Chris Bryant, Jason Kipnis, Wilson Contreras, Kyle Schwarber for the first 4. There's like another good player in there somewhere in the 5th slot. And I was like, shit, I don't want anybody to face that.
I got caught up watching the Game 7 of the Indians-Cubs World Series the other day. It was really weird watching David Ross be the catcher for that team and then now be the manager just a couple years later. Just kind of a weird time warp that we're living in, but who knows? I mean, maybe you take the beginning of a kind of a fresh look at the team. I mean, regardless of we all, I think, hold Joe Madden in pretty good regard as far as being a good coach or manager, but like maybe they just need a new outlook. I don't know. Maybe you have a little bit of a rejuvenated starting lineup. You got something kind of good going on. So there's some really good talent on the White Sox as well, though.
Yeah. They've been doing their rebuild right. We've talked about them for a bit, and I don't know when they're gonna. Well, okay, medium right. I don't know when they're going to overtake the Twins, but I mean, definitely, they're on the uptick as opposed to where they were last year. But then again, because it's the shortened season, anything can happen.
They're in year like 12 of like a 7-year rebuild process. So
But this is the first year that they were supposed to look good because they have Dallas Keuchel. They picked up the big chill from the Rangers, and then young up and coming Michael Kopech, their young pitcher, actually opted out of the season, but he has promise. And the White Sox actually look pretty good with Eloy Jimenez and then Jose Abreu in there. Like, they can rake.
Kopech came in the trade for Chris Sale, so that's starting to pay dividends for them now.
Kopech sounds like an oil company.
It does. It's even spelled that way too. It's like
K.
Yeah. Is it Kopech?
Yes.
Pretty good.
I had him on my team last year. He was pretty good when he was good.
Welcome back to the Outfielder Podcast, where we tell you how to spell baseball players' names. Next up, Rizzuto.
Saltalamacchia.
But it was a little bit weird just with no fans, though, right? Like, it's very, very strange.
I think it's great. You're going to hear so much chatter in the outfield and stuff. Like, you'll hear the coaches yelling shift at infielders and things like that. It's going to be awesome.
Well, I was watching clips of the Brewers. I guess they call it a blue versus gold game or something, like throwbacks versus whatever. It's like shirts versus skins, but acceptable. Anyway, so it was super weird to hear them pipe in the boos. Like, that was just ridiculous.
I can't wait for the first time where they get it wrong, where it's like they play the wrong. We misfire drops all the time. It's bound to happen.
That's fantastic.
I just can't wait to see who it's going to be, though. Like, do you guys remember a couple years ago when the Indians had the fireworks guy who set off fireworks for the wrong team like 3 times in a season?
Yeah,
was
he's updating his resume.
Maybe so.
I don't remember that, but that sounds awesome. Was he doing it on purpose? Did we find out?
I don't really recall, but Ivan gives us a nice take too. I haven't even really looked at this as much yet, but the catcher cam is pretty awesome.
Yes. I watched a clip of Corey Kluber pitching with the catcher cam, and you can like see the backdoor slider totally strike out Elvis Andrus. It's really cool.
Yeah.
Gives me anxiety watching pitches. Like, I don't even like catching a ball if you throw it at me, and that's just a light pitch. You know, if you're a 98-mile split finger fastball at me,
Straight at your face. It sounds that way for sure, but it's a little bit like it's because it's on like the chest plate, I guess. So it's a little bit off center a bit. So it's not as jarring as it feels like it might be. It's sort of like watching like MLB The Show or something like that, where it's sort of off the plate just a tad. So you can still see exactly what's going on, but it's still kind of depending on where the guy is pointing at.
Speaking of, since actual baseball's coming back, what are we going to do with our video game podcast where we've talked about Animal Crossing and Snow Runner and what are the other ones? Didn't we talk about Tony Hawk one time, or am I making that up?
I think, did Sam and I talk about that on Sensibly Game Night? I don't remember. Did we talk about Tony Hawk? I feel like Tony Hawk came up somewhere.
Maybe I just dreamed that.
I don't know.
Make it a reality, Ben.
Yeah. All right, so level 1 Foundry, you drop into Superman by Goldfinger, trying to nail the 900.
Got it.
Love it.
As soon as the new Tony Hawk comes out, which is just a reboot of the old one, we're going to have to do some commentary and play it. I think that'll be a lot of fun.
To quote
was
Walter
nothing wrong.
White, you're goddamned right.
But yeah, I'm stoked about baseball being back, though. I mean, I think at this point, honestly, I've been thinking about it a lot. I think that they're just going to try to go ahead and make this finish no matter what happens. There's too much money sunk into doing this in the first place, right?
Yes.
Yes. And did y'all hear about, like, just what a weird, bizarro world? Guess who's throwing out the first pitch at the Nationals opener?
I don't think I heard this. Who?
Jonathan Papelbon?
No, Dr.
President?
Fauci. Dr. Fauci is throwing out the first pitch
Fucking
at the
dope.
World Series champions home opener.
You know what? Good. He's earned it.
Yes.
If you'd have told him a year ago that he would be throwing out any first pitch, but yet alone opening day first pitch, what do you think he would have said?
I don't think so.
That's
Yeah.
nonsense. Something like that.
Let's get him on this
The
podcast.
data doesn't support that.
Yeah. Call him up. Get him on the
Yeah.
phone. Where's the
He
producer?
seems busy.
Yeah, he might have his hands full right now, but you know. But so like I was watching a little bit of the Yankees Mets game the other day, as to Jimmy Midtown's suggestion, and you know, I mean, we all know how it ended, but it was interesting to watch like Aaron Judge go hit a home run and then just go like, you know, bump fist with everybody in the dugout and everything. And it's like, that's not what we're supposed to be doing. That is not what's supposed to be happening here.
Three takeaways. One, what the heck, man? Two, I'm starting to think that guy's not an actual judge. And
No.
three, what happens whenever, like, I just can't believe it's going to sound like batting practice. Like they're just going to drill one to the left field bleachers, and then you'll just hear thunk as the
Yeah.
ball ricochets off some plastic seat.
Or my cardboard cutout that's in the outfield in Oakland. One of the two.
Yes.
I mean, you're really going to be able to get away with watching these games during work with the sound on during meetings because there's not going to be anything going on. There's no crowd noise. It's going to be like commentators talking. It's like it'll sound like an audiobook.
I feel bad for the old woman who plays organ at all these stadiums. She's out of a job now.
They're in there playing the shit, aren't they?
Are they? I don't know. But
They got
These
the
are the
announcers
hard-hitting
up there.
questions.
Yeah, they'll be announcing every hitter. They're there.
that is so bizarre. To who? Who are we announcing it to? Just
The people on
other.
the TV. Us. They're announcing it to us.
the cardboard cutouts of people's dogs that I've seen in the stands so far. You know?
There are dogs in the stands?
Oh yeah,
Awesome.
absolutely. I mean, come on, you should have known that was coming.
Oh my god.
I'm just wanting to know when mine's going to show up. I just want to know. Maybe one day we'll find out. I don't know.
Well, are they going to tell y'all where your cutouts end up? Like section 38, left-hand side.
So Sam had an interesting experience where he basically got his money back because they didn't process his order right.
Oh, no.
So it's just me.
Yeah, I don't have a cutout anymore. I think I could probably still submit one with the Rangers, but it's like 10 days overdue.
Yeah. So it's just me in the outfield in Oakland by myself.
Just like me when I went to the fucking 90 games over 4 years.
It's kind of fitting though, right?
That sounds just like an Oakland Stadium experience.
Yeah. It's basically how I felt every time I've been there.
One bitter 30-something sitting in the outfield.
Yeah, that is pretty fitting for a team that I have no affiliation or interest in whatsoever for the most part.
Well, I just love that on, I don't know if you have the image up, but for those that remember, it's you wearing a green t-shirt holding up a letter A in front of it. Like, it's absolute Bush League, but it's so par for the course.
Yeah, it's real half-assed, but I wasn't going to go buy an A's shirt. That's absurd.
You should have photoshopped one on your body.
Yeah, that's a lot of work, though. I'll save that for whenever we're creating teams and whatnot.
You should have just had, like, a shirt with every other letter of the alphabet except A, just to show I'm not rooting for these guys.
Yeah, just put the elephant in the middle or something like that. Yeah, it's fine. So I don't know. We'll see. I guess we'll see if I find out if I'm even out there or not. I don't even know if there's any, like, confirmation. I mean, Sam saw some of the same things that I did. There was no real indication that, yeah, this is going to happen. They could have just taken my money and just done whatever they want with it. I mean, I
didn't even get past the first fucking like barrier. They took my money and then I got no email or anything. They're like, this guy sucks.
And then they just decided they didn't even want your money and they just gave it to you
They
back.
gave it back. Yeah. There's a hole in my account for a while. Whatever.
It's fine. So ill-fated. I was hoping that you guys were going to do the Rangers one.
I think we still can.
I would have. I'm trying to be better about stupid purchases because I'm sitting on an untold amount of money in World War I and II paraphernalia. So I try to be a lot better about it. However, I did want to wear it's me in a 1917 Doughboy uniform just along the left field line at the new Globe Life.
So the guidance here on the Rangers Doppelranger site is no orders placed after 7/16, which was last Thursday, will not be there by opening day, but they seem ready to like put it in there soon after.
It's not bad.
So I'll make this happen for real this time.
Don't you think that they should, as part of this, have at least a picture they can send you of it out there? Doesn't that seem reasonable?
I think it does seem reasonable. I think this has been cobbled together, and I'm not surprised that's not a thing.
That is fair. I'll give you that. And honestly, like they're making the best out of a bad situation regardless, right? Like that's not. I was stupid enough to trust that they'd print me out and put me in the outfield in the first place. So hopefully they do.
I would not at all be surprised if they're getting a lot of requests for that. Like, hey, where am I? Can I see where my doppel guy is? I would not be surprised at all if they did like a long pan across all the seats so that you could actually see everybody and you could be like, oh, there I am.
That would be good. But I would say, too, that I would not be surprised if they just printed them out and put them out there and didn't have any rhyme or reason, just stuck them in seats and then don't have any way of tracking who's went to whose account.
See, but the thing is, I told them to put me by the veggie nacho guy. Like, if I'm not sitting by the veggie nacho guy, why am I there?
Like, I'm really hoping that I'm in, like, one specific seat in a row, like, by myself. I need to be 6 feet apart from everybody, though. Like, I need to be away.
That's right. My Doppelranger is not social distancing. Please put him in the third deck.
Yeah.
So I'm still, like y'all said, I'm in absolute disbelief that we're actually getting baseball this year. It doesn't feel real. I'm starting to get excited, but I've, like, tempered my expectations to where I don't believe it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. Everything is such trash. It's hard to believe that something good is about to happen. Like,
and
I'm just not.
I just realized as we've started recording this podcast, this will be the first time in 3 seasons that we haven't had predictions ready by opening day. So
we should do that for next episode, even though it'll be like a weekend 4 or 5 days.
like a quarter of the season. No, I'm just kidding.
Maybe we could make it simple because we won't be able to do game by game predictions, but maybe we just come up with the teams that we think are going to make it to the postseason.
Yeah, we'll have that done by next episode. We'll get Jimmy Midtown to come on too if he wants to.
Do we know where he's at? Is he still in California?
No, he's back.
He made it back.
Yeah, he's self-quarantining right now and
walking across the country barefoot or something.
You can ask him next week, hopefully. Right here. Yes.
He has no excuses. There's nothing else going on, especially if he's quarantined. He's definitely at home.
Correct. So don't give me that I've got plans bullcrap, Jimmy.
He's painted himself into a corner here. He's on the show next week.
Yes. Yes. He doesn't even know about it, but he's on, and we are playing that music whether he likes it or not.
Just every time he opens his mouth, the song starts up, and he's like, really? It was funny the first 14 times. 15th, though.
Not good. Not good at all. Yeah, so okay, we'll do that next week. So we're just gonna do teams to make the postseason, and then let's just do some like quick, like wild, like predictions too of just like who's gonna win the World Series. Just why not?
Yeah, I think because there's only 60 games, there's actually a pretty good opportunity for there to be some outstanding performances, both individually and by teams. Like you could call out, like there's wild predictions that somebody's going to hit over 400 for the season, things like that. There's just a lot of potential for hot streaks over that period of time, and like also cold streaks. Somebody could very well go like 10-30 through 40 games. That would suck.
We've seen it before. It stinks.
Well, because normally by that point it's like, yeah, it's May 15th. Who cares? We'll be all right by July. But no, like you got to get your swings in.
Yeah, even halfway through this season, you can't let your foot off the gas. Like if you go 0 for 30 and then you went 30 for 0, you could like end up in the postseason. You'd be 500.
There's almost zero chance that Dusty Baker's going to be able to keep up with the pace of this.
Oh, he's going to get sick for sure.
Oh, almost certain. Like day one, basically.
I feel bad.
The guy's so old. There's no way he's going to be able to keep up with the pace of. I mean, you basically every game is worth like 6 games or something like that of your regular season. It's ridiculous. Like we're talking about. You look at literally like I love sitting there looking through the Red Sox schedule and it being just 2 months and you're done.
It's baseball, but in dog years.
Basically, yes. Basically, yes. I love looking back at that though, and so it'll be interesting to see how it goes. I think you guys are right though. It's going to be a matter of streaks and performance as an overall whole. And I mean, with everything being, we have DH across the board for all the leagues.
Finally,
mixed up divisions and things like that wouldn't usually exist. I mean, there's true opportunity for chaos here.
Well, and the one thing that I was reading about, and I'm sure it's because, and anyone who listens knows, lifelong Ranger fan, I still curse out the ghost of David Freese in 2011. Like, I get it. But I'm worried about teams like Texas or Houston who have to travel more than teams that get to stay regionally. I saw something on Reddit where they were talking about presumptive games won or lost as a result of miles traveled, and it's not a good look for any team from Texas.
Hate to see it. Sam, who do you think the opening day starter for the Red Sox is going to be? Just quick quiz for you.
Is Erod still on the team?
Yeah, but he has COVID.
Oh fuck! I should have known that. I honestly can't name another starter on the Red Sox right now. It's not David Price anymore.
No, it's not.
Not Chris Sale.
Nope.
I don't know. I don't know a single other one that's really bad. I've lost all my baseball knowledge. Like I'm not thinking about any of it.
I'm not trying to put you on the spot because I don't think this is in a million years. I'm sure you would have named.
I know.
Nathan Eovaldi.
Oh, I was going to say Martin Perez.
No. That guy went out and got immediately shelled in the very first game he pitched the other day. Immediately.
Eovaldi, you were singing his fucking praises when he was good.
Yeah, he was fine at that point. He's not an opening day starter for Major League Baseball in a short season.
He is. He definitely is.
Make a closer last year, for Christ's sakes.
It's like, well, the evidence shows otherwise.
Right. It's like on Parks and Rec when Ron Swanson wins an award and Leslie says, that's not very award-winning like behavior. And he said, everything I do is like award-winning behavior because I won an award.
Exactly. That's all that really matters.
That's how I go through my life.
Is it? Do we know who the Rangers opening day starter is going to be?
It's going to be Lance Lynn.
Interesting. Okay.
He was really good last year. He and Mike Minor had almost identical stats, and they were both very good.
Yeah. The Rangers are probably the second team I'm most interested in to see what their pitching looks like this year. Shout out to listener Danny, who let us know about the Rays pitching staff as like the team to watch this year. I'm really excited for seeing how that's going to go.
This works out. This whole short season thing works out for the Rays better than any other team because they have so much committed to the committee of pitchers versus starters and relievers and closers and all that stuff. This is prime for that kind of situation to just absolutely blossom.
They're going to play it at every angle.
Yes. Good for them.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. If you're going to do something wheels off, this is the year for it.
Yeah. I'm all about the most amount of chaos we can see here because the Red Sox are going to be bad. I mean,
it's gotten really chaotic the past couple of days. I think we called this out here, but we're seeing a slew of players opt out. There's a whole situation with the other country that plays in the MLB. Like, it's fucking chaotic right now.
Right.
Yes, that was news coming out of Toronto, where Toronto, the city, said, no, we're not going to allow baseball being played in our city.
Country. I thought Justin Trudeau was like, nope.
It was the whole country? I just thought it was the city.
Like,
oh, my God.
Can't do it.
But you know what? I applaud their efforts because at least they've done something about it. Like we haven't
Are
done.
they going to be in Buffalo? Like, what are they going to do?
What are they going to do? What's the strategy?
I saw just a little while ago. I think they are going to play in Buffalo.
Like the Bills field? Like they're just
there's
put some dirt on it. The Bills aren't using it.
Just throw some dirt on it.
There's some dirt on the smash tables.
There's some sort of baseball stadium there, but it's from what I've read, it's not really like an MLB type stadium, but it doesn't really have to be, I guess.
Yeah, you don't need fans. You don't need bathrooms. You don't need concessions. You just need a field.
So if they make it to the postseason and they're playing in Buffalo in October, isn't that going to be like really cold and snowy?
I'll be
cheering. You know it's not a dome.
You know I'll be cheering for the Blue Jays in that scenario. You know I will be.
Sick.
Oh my God. I just tried to Google the stadium and I tried to Google Buffalo Blue Jays. Like, what a weird name that is.
I want to say, Ben, you're the resident historian for the show, but I want to say something like they haven't had a professional baseball game there since like 1897 or something like that.
I'm sure they haven't had like a true major. I think there was a double or single A affiliate that had, somewhere in upstate New York, but I'd have to check and see.
How cool is that going to be for the citizens of Buffalo? Like, they get a professional baseball team for 2 months. That's going to be fantastic.
Who should be pretty decent, actually.
So it is the when I look up baseball Buffalo Stadium, the Buffalo Bisons play at Saline Field. They're a AAA team since 1988. AAA Buffalo Bisons of the International League.
I think what I saw was like major league professional game.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Yeah, but still, that's fascinating nonetheless. I think that's where they would be playing the games then, right?
Yeah, that's what it looks like according to Buffalo News. Canada denies Blue Jays permission to play in Toronto. Saline Field is where it's at.
Because I know the other option was to play at their spring training facility, but that's in Florida. That's not a good idea either.
No.
I like Buffalo. That's pretty cool.
So 2 thoughts. Nothing is good in Florida except maybe NASA. So take that back. But NASA, everywhere they go, is out of this world. No, the second point I was planning on making before that awesome joke was I love the idea of teams playing in obscure cities, like minor market teams.
Yeah. They had the game last year in the middle of like a cornfield for the
Field of Dreams thing.
Yeah.
Field of Dreams. Thank you.
Yeah.
Wasn't that last year? That's cool.
That's supposed to be this year.
Yeah, that was
Was
supposed
that
to be.
supposed to be this year? Oh, I
Uh-huh.
thought it
It
was
canceled
last year.
for COVID, but like, let's make the Twins play in Duluth. Like, who gives a shit?
I agree. They should do more of that. Like the London games were awesome.
Yes,
People
they
get
were.
rowdy, man. It's like they don't get to see that. They're going to come out in force and go crazy. But obviously, there's no fans
Yeah,
this year. Oh,
except
shit. Why did I
they're
even
not.
say that? Why didn't you guys call me out on that? What the hell?
It's fine. It's no
You
big
were on
deal.
a roll, man. We didn't want to cramp your style.
Yeah.
Cramp it, man.
No,
That'll be really good for your radio audition tape because we don't have to have the context. It's just you making an awesome point.
Yeah,
Sure.
perfect. Nobody's going to call you back on it. No big deal. Yeah. So, I mean, I guess that's it's right across the border anyway. So it's really not too far off as far as travel goes for the Blue Jays. And I mean, you're right there with the rest of the division anyway. So, I mean, it does kind of work out. It just sucks that Toronto, who I don't know really who their fan base is specifically, but I don't know if it's like kind of like a struggling fan base or like a smaller market fan base. I'm not really sure, to be honest with you. Even though they're in my division, it's hard to gauge that.
I'm sure that there are a number of Blue Jays fans, in upstate New York.
They have a rabid fan base in Toronto. It's like a bunch of hockey hooligans, and they just go fucking ape shit.
Okay. I'm fine with it. And I also think it's ironic, though, because they have the best facilities to be able to host baseball games and that they can be quarantined inside the hotel that's connected to their ballpark. One of the only actual ballparks that has that's like actually connected, the Rogers Center. So, all right. Anything else on Blue Jays international talks? We got to get to the POS corner.
No, but just a reminder, I have a fun trivia game I'm going to give y'all at the end of this episode, sponsored by MLB.com. So don't forget to save time for that.
All right, well, let's get to the POS quarter then.
This is Paul Rahman from WBAT in Cincinnati. We interrupt this regular scheduled programming to bring you this breaking news bulletin. It appears that people have been called pieces of shit from around the globe. Baseball players in particular seem to be the main target. However, no person, concept, or universe is exempt from this cruel but very usual punishment. The perpetrator has been identified as the Great Sambino. Police have confirmed that he is still at large and about to take his piece of shit corner.
Ding, ding, ding. Huge piece of shit.
So little different take on piece of shit because I'm not going to like berate an individual or an organization, but I will say that there was a piece of shit trade that happened before this season started, and it is not panning out well for one of the teams, and that is the Cleveland Indians.
Okay.
Just bear with me. So the Cleveland Indians traded to the Rangers Corey Kluber. In return, they got Emmanuel Clace, who is a relief pitcher, very young guy, like fireballer, really good, and then Delino DeShields.
Okay.
So do either of you know what happened with those two players?
No.
I do.
Would you know both answers?
Yeah, but go ahead. Enlighten Ben, please.
I'll let Ben try and guess. So do you know what happened guess what happened to Delino DeShields, Ben?
I don't know.
He got COVID.
Okay. Okay.
Guess what happened to Emmanuel Clace?
Did he also get the COVID?
He got a 80-game PED suspension.
Oh, no.
So effectively, the two players that they traded for can't play. Delino DeShields is expected to return shortly, and he's a fine player. He'll be fine. But Emmanuel Clace, like PEDs, he's out for the season. He's just like, they canceled his season. And then Corey Kluber for the Rangers is like fire. He's like Sandy Koufaxing everybody. He's like playing mind games, like some of the best pitching that I've seen out of the Rangers so far in the preseason. He's doing really well. So it's like, that's a piece of shit trade.
How is how is Kluber not their opening day starter then?
Well, so he had an injury riddled last two seasons. I think he had like 5-8 starts last season. Then he broke his forearm with a line drive.
Yeah.
So I think maybe they're just playing it easy with him. And Lance Lynn crushed it for us last year. So that honestly, opening day pitcher is kind of honorary in some ways. So I think they're like, go Lance Lynn, you had a great 2019, even though Corey Kluber might end up being better this year.
Also, I believe before everything got shut down, when they were in actual spring training, they were worried about Kluber's health, and so they named Lynn as the starter in like March. And then so, thinking, oh yeah, Kluber might be, still recovering or whatever, not realizing that he'd have an extra 140 days.
Yeah.
Well, after 60 games, whenever we get to that point, you're going to look back on that one opening day loss. You're going to say, damn it, they should have started Kluber. I'm telling you right now, it's going to happen. It's going to matter.
I think he might be right, but he's looking really good despite that notion.
Yeah, I'm sure it's really not that big of a deal if Lance Lynn's going to go out and deal on opening day. It's really not a huge thing. It's very strange with the whole crowd noise thing. But yeah, no, I like that as a POS. I think that's a good POS.
We'll dig into some real ones after week 1.
So I have a almost POS, but that reminded me of a question because we talked about the crowd noise and the walk-up songs and all that stuff. How many of the teams that are not the Houston Astros are going to pipe in the sound of a trash can banging?
No.
0? You don't think
0.
anyone's going to be courageous enough to try it?
No. I think MLB would have a cow if they did something like that. They want this to go away, and ironically, this is kind of the perfect season for it to happen.
Ben, what do you think? How many teams?
I think it'll be realistically 0, but whoever does it, I'm buying that person a beer.
If we could be there, we would make sure of it in some way, shape, or form, but fans can't be there. So it's all up to a couple of deviants, and I don't think that that's courageous enough to lose your job over.
I have a thought. We could just fly to Oakland or a closer stadium. Well, it's got to be an outdoor one, but you rent a truck and a bunch of speakers, and then you just pipe it in from the outside.
Love it.
Awesome.
Absolutely. Or hire a skywriter, one of those airplanes with the big banner, but have the banner just say trash can noise and then just circle around the stadium.
Weren't you just talking about spending money on stupid things?
Yeah, but that's not stupid, Justin. That's an investment in the Rangers' future that I'm making.
That's
a GoFundMe up for that. That'll happen in 9 seconds.
19 seconds. I'd probably fund the whole thing. That's incredible. It's a great idea, Ben. It's a fantastic idea.
Next thing you know, my wife's going to run in the room and be like, Ben, why'd you put a second mortgage on the house? I was like, don't worry about it.
Skywriter. You hired a skywriter again. I really think bullshit that the Astros are going to end up getting a pass because that's what's going to happen. They're going to get a pass. They already did get a pass.
Yeah, they got a pass because they kept the damn rings.
Unbelievable.
Materially, they've gotten a pass. And then the whole fans wanting to shame the Astros, they're getting a pass on that, which is that's the worst part to me.
Yeah. A year ago can mean a lot of things in people's eyes. Do what?
Sam said that's the worst part to me. And I said outside of the cheating.
I mean, in terms of their consequences, I rank people being able to shame them higher than the lost draft picks because that was a shitty league mandate or whatever consequence. And then the people shaming them is much more impactful to me. So that's just how I rank them internally.
That's perfect.
And to be clear, I'm super glad that they did it because the story alone is absolutely worth it. To think about the fact that they were cheating in 2017 by banging on trash cans. That very notion alone is absolutely worth all of it happening.
So I would 90% agree with you, but 10% disagree because their cheating at this level made so many other people forget about Boston cheating at this level.
1,000%.
So,
I'll take that. That's not my fucking problem, buddy.
Well, I don't forget. Do I have time for a POS? Can I name someone?
Always.
Okay. So I'm a kind of a big proponent of masks, and I'm not going to get all political on this podcast. It's not what I'm paid to do. I've even tried exercising in my mask, and just last week I ran 2 miles with my mask on. Yeah, it happened. I got to tell you, seeing baseball players on the field wearing their masks, it's a pretty good look.
It's not bad.
Especially if you're pitching. I feel like that just amps up that mind game. If all you can see is this motherfucker's eyes on the mound, imagine. Anyway, so my POS would be any baseball player who doesn't opt for the awesomeness that is wearing a mask. You know, like you get to mess with your appearance more than you ever have before in baseball right now.
I'm with
Capitalize
you.
on that and save some lives.
Oof. I'm with you on that 100%. The running 2 miles in a mask, like if you're alone, I don't think you need to do that, but props to you for doing it anyway. That seems like tough. I did some labor in a mask at a Home Depot, like lifting a bunch of mulch bags, and that was fucking hard.
Hold on. Were you lifting your own mulch bags?
Of course. What do you think? I'm lifting somebody else's mulch bags? It's COVID era.
You referred to it as doing labor at Home Depot, so that made it sound like it was some sort of job versus you going to pick up some mulch.
I feel like you had community service for.
For that one POS corner I did. I got nicked.
Yeah, it'll happen. Awesome. Yeah, no, I mean, Ben, what's your rationale for running 2 miles in said mask? I'm just curious.
Yeah, two things. One, y'all know me. I like, if it weren't for my wife keeping me sane, like I'd be a super liberal doomsday prepper. Like that's where I'm at on that side of the spectrum. But I was basically feeling down. There were a lot of people out and about. I was like, I want to be super careful, super cautious. You know, normally when I run, I don't wear a mask. Sometimes I'll have it with me just in case I like have to pass people and can't get 10, 15 feet away. But just this one day I was like, no, you know what? I'm just going to do it. And I got to say, by the end of it, it felt like I was just holding a wet wash rag to my face. Yeah. Probably not good for me at all. So I'm no longer running with the mask, but I'm at least keeping it with me. And it gave me the legs to say, if I can run 2 miles in a mask, you can stand in left field with a mask on.
Yeah, good call.
And that is also not talked about, the running of 2 miles. Well done.
Thank you. I appreciate that. April 20th, I decided, hey, let me see if I can run. I could barely run a mile. Since that day, I've ran 110 miles.
Ooh, you get an applause.
That's a lot. Good for you.
Thank you.
Very nice. And
I was trying to counteract the not taking steps because one day I looked at my phone and it was like, congratulations, you've walked 400 steps today, fat ass. And I was like, oh, that's good. Oh, pretty good.
Yeah, rough.
It's tough. Tough. Yeah, I like it though. I think that it's like you said at the beginning, like it's a matter of safety. And I love to see that athletes are kind of promoting that too. That makes a difference because you're about to see like the NBA specifically not do that. And at a time where it kind of needs to be popular a little bit, you know, it would help.
Yeah. LeBron James can make masks cool pretty fucking quick.
Exactly.
He can
but
make
I like the pitching
cool pretty quick also.
That's true. Ben, I like the call out of the intimidation factor with pitchers wearing the masks. That is incredibly sick. That would be so intimidating if you're like got a guy with like a shredder mask on.
Yes.
The only thing
like he's just staring you, he's mean mugging at you. You don't know what he's thinking, and then he winks before grilling a 99-mile-per-hour right down the middle.
Yeah. I mean, you can't lick his hand anyway, so it's not like it's going to interfere with anything other than his breathing in some way.
Have you seen any spitting yet? Speaking of,
I haven't.
I have not really either, but that scares me just as much as it does comforts me.
Is there a rule about that in this year's baseball league? No spitting?
Yeah. No spitting, no sunflower seed spitting, no dips.
Bubblegum allowed, though.
Bubblegum allowed.
That's it, though. So
I also haven't seen a lot of shots on the dugout because I presume there's probably not enough social distancing, mask wearing, and probably a lot of spitting going on.
True. And those are just inter-squad games and just a few exhibition games, too. Like I saw at Fenway today, they were putting in the stairwell that goes from the bullpen up into the stands so players can go and sit up in the actual stands away from each other, which is what they should be doing. And that
imagine Mookie Betts walks up there and puts his arm around your cutout.
Exactly.
I'd be so upset, but so honored all at the same time.
Which, for what it's worth, do y'all remember this, like, when no one knew what the hell was going on? And the biggest news out of Fenway is that Dropkick Murphys played a concert on the field with a special guest of Bruce Springsteen on video. Like, what a weird, bizarro 2020 this is.
It's all been very strange. We've been hammering that out even with our fantasy baseball league of like what to do and how to treat this whole thing fairly, because it's an absolute mess, but I think it's going to lead to fun chaos. I really do. Whatever team wins this year is going to be somewhat undeserving in some way. You know what I mean?
And I think the way that my whole mantra as the commissioner is it should map to the real season as much as possible. And because the real season is going to be chaotic and difficult for teams to manage, it should be chaotic and difficult for us to manage. Like there's a lot of commissioners who are saying I'm putting that league on ice and I'm going to start a new one for this year. And I think that's bullshit. That's not sticking with it. So there you go.
You got to handle the stick with itness. And I would still, we'll see what happens. I would still give whoever wins the World Series this year legs over the Astros championship and the 18 Bo Sox championship.
It's gonna be something like, I don't really know what that means. It's gonna be
more credence,
more like what are we talking about?
Authenticity, or like more
authentic than trash can banging and digital monitor.
More legitimacy.
Yep.
Yeah, Ivan's gonna win. See,
Ivan's gonna win. This is an Ivan year. I can feel it in my bones.
Ivan's won like 5 games in a decade.
Yeah, probably so. But he's also. I mean, this is the perfect year for the guy to rise right out of the water and just take everybody down. That'd be great.
Sleeping on Ivan. I think he's gonna play this year. It's gonna be
for sure. And I would love to see Ivan just come from last place and take Marty down after 3 years in a row. That'd be fantastic.
Anything's possible this year.
Anything is possible. I can't wait. One last comment from Ivan here on the video. Well, action.
Make sure to
happen. But what were you gonna say, Ben? Sorry.
Make sure to check us out. If you comment on social media while we're podcasting, we absolutely want to be able to display your comment and interact with you. So definitely make sure you're doing that.
Indeed. All right. So we've got about 20 minutes left or so. Ben, what is your trivia? So let's get to that.
All right. So I just noticed this today. Whenever it hit me today that, hey, baseball's coming back, I decided to meander on over to MLB.com. I'm told it's a website. It's on the internet. But it's basically
proven.
Yeah, exactly. Can you name the current franchise based on past team names? So there are 10 questions. I got an 80 on it. I'm going to kick it to y'all and tell me if y'all can name it, okay?
Okay, I'll try.
All right, I'll give it my best.
All right. I'm going to start with giving open discussion. Then if y'all need me to give you options, I will. Okay. But what current franchise was known as the St. Louis Browns from 1902 to 1953?
The St. Louis Cardinals.
I feel like that's too easy. I feel like
Ben would have said that was right if I was right.
Yeah.
Yes, I do like validating you, Sam.
Does that mean that isn't right, Ben?
That is not right. No, the St. Louis Cardinals have been playing in St. Louis for a long time. St. Louis had 2 teams until 53.
God.
So I'll give you your choices.
Okay.
Orioles, Royals, Indians, or Cardinals? I've already ruled out Cardinals. So Orioles, Royals, or Indians?
I think it's the Indians.
Royals.
Man, y'all suck. Baltimore. 53, those St. Louis Browns moved to Baltimore.
Bad.
Okay.
What is
it? Got this one.
Cleveland teams moving to All right, anyway.
We talked about this before on this pod. Which team was once known as the Naps? Naps.
Ooh. We have talked
about the Royals, the Indians, the Reds, or the White Sox?
White Sox.
Yeah. I mean, we're bad.
Okay.
I'm sticking with
it's Cleveland, the Indians.
God damn it.
Cleveland Indians. They should
probably... You got an 80 on this? Good for you.
Thank you. I'm kind of a big fucking dork. No. They also were known as the Blues and the Bronchos in 1901 and 1902. But in 1915,
that is the best team name.
They decided to go with the very racist Indians.
Bronchos?
Bronchos, yeah.
Broncho?
Yeah, S, yes.
So they could have chosen Bronchos or Indians, and they went the racist route, huh?
Make Cleveland the Bronchos again.
We don't know what Bronchos means. Let's be careful.
Yeah, that is true. That is true. Let me tap the brakes. Don't write that down. We're not marking. Okay. All right. Which team was once known as the Colt 45s?
Oh, I'm gonna have to have some choices, but I feel like I'm gonna know it when I hear it.
The Pirates, the Royals, the Rangers, or the Astros?
I think it was the Astros, right?
Absolutely right. It was the Astros. So for the first 2 or 3 seasons, they were the Colt 45s.
A broncho, if we're interested,
Okay.
is a less common spelling of a bronco or horse.
Do they have a good logo? Would it be a good logo?
I don't even know if they had logos in 1901. I think he could probably come up with one.
It
Oh,
definitely.
you bet your ass I could. But essentially, I'm wondering if it said bronco and not broncho, but I would go broncho.
Yeah.
According to MLB.com, it was bronchos, like nachos, but made out of horses.
Well, that's how it's spelled, but how is it? Doesn't matter.
All right.
What current team was once known as the Washington Senators?
The Rangers.
That's right. It was the Rangers. The second iteration of the Washington Senators, started by Ted Williams in the 60s, became the Texas Rangers in 1972. Good work, J-Mac.
Give myself
Y'all
a
have gotten 2 of 4 so far. So you're batting 50%.
500. All right.
Which team was once known as the Americans? You have the Yankees, the Nationals, the Phillies, or the Red Sox?
Yankees.
I think it was the Yankees.
Both wrong. It was the Red Sox.
Really?
1903. They were the Boston Americans.
Wow.
They were the Americans 1901 to 07. They switched to the Red Sox in 1908.
Okay.
All right. Which team was originally known as the Highlanders? The Royals, the Mets, the Orioles, or the Yankees?
Let's say the Mets.
Yankees.
Yeah. So Sam gets this one. That's your third of 6. This is the Yankees, were formerly the New York Highlanders.
Okay.
All right. Which team was once known as the Boston Bees? The Boston Bees. That's the animal, BEE, Bravo, Echo, Echo. The Red Sox, the Braves, the Brewers, or the Reds?
It's the Braves, right?
Yes, absolutely. Good work, gentlemen.
You've
Yes.
talked about the Bees before, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, the Boston Bees, also the Boston Bean Eaters, became the Braves, and then they became Boston Braves, then Milwaukee Braves, and then down to Atlanta.
Bean Eaters
Right.
is a great name for a team.
Absolutely. All right, three left. Which team was once known as the Orphans? The Cubs, the White Sox, the Dodgers, or the Cardinals?
What?
I'm going to go with White Sox.
Sure. That's fine with me.
So this was one that I missed. I chose the White Sox, but it's actually the Cubs. They were the White Stockings from 1876 to 89. Then they were known as the Colts from 90 to 97, and the Orphans from 1898 to 1902.
Weren't they the cancer patients for a little while?
I don't know of that.
It sounds like somebody just didn't want to bother coming up with a name, so they called them like the no names. That's what it sounds like. That's ridiculous.
All right, 2 left. Which team was originally known as the Seattle Pilots? The
Ooh.
Mariners, the Angels, the Brewers, or the Pirates?
Mariners.
Yeah, it gotta be the Mariners. No, I'm between that and
easy.
the Angels, but I'm gonna go with Mariners.
So that's the obvious answer. It was actually the Brewers. So the Seattle Pilots from 64 to 68, they moved to Milwaukee in 1970.
The
And
Pilots.
became
name.
What's that?
Pilots is a good name.
It is a good name. And then finally, question 10 of 10. We have also talked about this before. Which team was once known as the Robins? Robins. The bird, not the Batman character.
This is the one I remember you talking about, but I don't know the answer.
Well,
Same.
because we've talked about bird names before. So it's going to be the Orioles, the Dodgers, the Blue Jays, or the Cardinals.
I'm gonna say the Cardinals.
I think it's the Dodgers.
It's the Dodgers. The Dodgers were once the Brooklyn Robins. They were also the Superbas, the Bridegrooms, the Grooms, the Grays, the Dodgers, and the Trolley Dodgers before that.
Were they just like looking at things and calling them out like that's our team name and that's our team name? Someone was betting just like, oh, we're the grooms, the groomsmen.
There was a lot of fighting. They became the Dodgers in 31. it was their unofficial nickname. Like they were still called the Dodgers, but they were their official name before that were the Superbas, the Robins, etc.
You know what my favorite thing about this exercise is, Ben? It highlights that team names change a lot, and it doesn't really matter what your team is named at all.
No.
They change cities. They
You change it, and you're gonna keep playing ball. It's gonna be fine.
Yeah,
That's right. Yeah, so there you go. That's what that was today's proof that I have watched too much of Ken Burns' baseball documentary.
it's a good exercise, though. It really is. Do we want to look at real quick before we close everything out? Do we want to look at where, like, some of the odds on where we are on some of the odds for like a plus 400 season and stuff like that, like we were talking about before?
Sure.
Yes, 100%.
All right, kill some time for me while I do this.
So in today's baseball documentary news, the aforementioned Ken Burns baseball documentary is no longer on Amazon Prime, nor is any other Ken Burns program, and it has been much more difficult for me to fall asleep since all Ken Burns was purged from Amazon.
I've been watching a lot of Star Trek. That's been helpful in sleeping, and also
Which
just a show.
iteration?
Next Gen.
Okay.
Jean-Luc Picard.
So
Ben,
go ahead.
please. You.
I was going to say, I've never seen an episode of Next Gen. I remember watching the original with Shatner and Nimoy and all that, but I couldn't tell you anything aside from Patrick Stewart in it, and I'm told it's good.
It is very good. It's worth your time for sure. But Ben, so we just went through 10 historic name changes. That's not all of them. And is your favorite encompassed in those 10?
Good question. I do love the Bean Eaters. Like, that's just such a stupid name, and I love it so much. I also like that they busted out the New York Highlanders. You know, the Yankees, their original moniker, rather. I think that's pretty good. I think that those are all the best ones. Any other really good ones are all the minor league ones.
Oh, yeah. Minor league names we well covered are some of the best.
And we will continue to do so if we ever get a minor league baseball again.
Probably won't. They'll just kill it out from going forward. That's it. No more. All right. So odds to win the 2020 American League MVP. You have Mike Trout at like plus 140 is the best. So like this is a great example of someone who could absolutely have a breakout season and carry his team way more than he typically would. Right after that, you have Gleyber Torres, and then you have Aaron Judge, Bregman, and then Francisco Lindor. So it's an interesting list of just your odds to win the actual MVP there.
Yeah, it's Trout and not Trout are your two options.
Correct. On the other side of it, on the National League, you've got Acuna, Yelich, Mookie, and Juan Soto.
That feels a lot closer to me.
It does.
Feel closer.
It goes all the way. They even have so. Sam, you can get for the same odds, okay? You can get Fernando Tatis Jr. or Cody Bellinger.
What?
Yes.
Huh.
And both of those have better odds than Bryce Harper.
That's really strange. He's had a couple of weird years, so I get it.
Yeah.
But he can go off.
For sure. Anybody can go off. I think that's kind of the point.
That's interesting.
Ooh. I mean, because Harper does well in the smaller stints, so I could see where a 60-game season would do well, but also don't sleep on Bellinger.
Right. You've got most regular season home runs, you've got Joey Gallo leading, Mike Trout, Pete Alonso, Yordan Alvarez, and Aaron Judge. Pretty interesting as far as odds.
I think Alvarez is overrated. I think he's had some good seasons, but I don't see that going long game. That's just my take.
I like Alonso over Judge. I think that's an extra twist of the knife for the Burrows. And I'm really wondering how Gallo's going to do in an indoor park.
Post-COVID.
Yeah, post-COVID, exactly.
You can even get Franmil Reyes as the same odds as Bryce Harper.
That's wrong.
The most home runs? Maybe. That's pretty interesting regardless.
His 1990s reference. Hey, it could happen. Big world.
What a weird ass obscure reference.
I got it. This is a good one.
A lot of these we talked about already, like AL win leaders. Obviously, it's going to be your Garrett Coles, Verlander, Corey Kluber, Chris Sales in the mix. I don't know why, but he is. Greinke, some of those guys are kind of in the mix for your actual win leaders. And on the NL side, Kershaw, Scherzer, Walker Buehler, Jack Flaherty. I saw that Jack Flaherty is like the youngest Cardinal starter, opening day starter in like history or something like that.
He throws good.
Yes. Throws baseball far.
He throws baseball well.
It's awesome. Some interesting rookie of the year stuff. I mean, Luis Robert is kind of the odds-on favorite, and it's not even really that close, to be honest with you. It's going to be a weird year for stuff like that, though, because of how thin everything is.
Is Bo Bichette technically a rookie this year, or was that last year?
I think that was last year. I think he played enough games.
Did he?
I think he's filming The Mandalorian.
You love that joke, don't you?
Every time.
Every single time. Yeah, I think he had to have played enough games last year. He played majority of the season last year, right?
I don't know. I don't
remember. And like we talked about the tricky stuff with like service time and stuff like that. You never know when a guy's just randomly pulled up like that or whatever.
Yeah, because like Luis Robert played games last year and he wasn't a rookie, and then Bo Bichette was. Like, I just don't know where the lines are.
Yeah, you have Nolan Arenado with the best odds in the NL. As far excuse me, most hits in the NL for 2020. You're looking at Nolan Arenado.
Sneaky top 5 player who doesn't get enough noise.
Absolutely. This will be a make or break year for him, though, in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
We've been expecting big things out of him for a while.
He's been great. He's hit 40 home runs for like two of his 5 years.
Yeah, his team has stunk so bad that it hadn't mattered.
Oh, Mike Trout's team has stunk too.
That's true. It's very true. Do you think they'll get that fixed?
I think they're fixing it. Not this season. Not next.
Under new management.
Don't do it. Don't do it. Promise me you won't go down that hole. It's terrible.
Well, if you like what you're hearing, thank you so much for checking us out. Make sure to follow us. We are all over your social medias. That's on Facebook, on Instagram, on the good old Twitter. Don't forget, though, your one-stop shop is at sensiblyloud.com for all of your favorite podcasts and even some of your least favorite podcasts. No, I'm kidding. They're all fantastic, and you should check them all out. Huge props to J-Mac for producing this and every other episode. Don't forget to tune in next week when we give you our Major League Baseball predictions. Will there be baseball? It certainly looks like it, and we're going to keep talking about it here on the Outfielder podcast.
Oh, it's happening, buddy, and I can't wait. We will see everybody next week for another edition of the Outfielder podcast.